So as a way to kind of break up the norm of photographing horizontally, I thought I would set up this demo in a vertical orientation. And this is basically how I would set up to photograph for HDR. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dial in a few settings. I'm at 22 for my aperture, which should be good, although I might just open up to 16 because that's probably a nice sweet spot. And I'm going to actually overexpose a bit. So I'm going to expose for the whole inside of the room to be really bright. Even the darkest shadow in my corner here is fairly bright. And so this gives me a quarter of a second. I'm at 400 ISO, which is good, although I could go ahead and dial this down to 100. And that's going to actually have me go up a bit more on my exposure. So we'll go with a 1 second exposure. So I'm on a tripod, obviously, and that's an important thing if we're working with a 60th of a second or slower shutter speed. So 1 second, 16 for my aperture, 100 ISO. It's a nice, bright, sunny day. There's a lot of light coming in, and I'm relatively facing west towards the sun, so that brightens up my room pretty well. In other words, these settings wouldn't be perfect for every space. So I go ahead and take one picture at that, and I go 1, 2, 3 clicks, take another picture, 1, 2, 3 clicks, take another picture, 1, 2, 3 clicks, take another picture. I'm going to keep going until the sky looks pretty dark. I'm facing the sun, so it's going to be hard to get it to look really blue, but right about here would be probably pretty good. I'm going to go one more and just see. Yeah, it gets a little bit more blue, although now it starts looking really kind of dark gray, so that exposure might be worthless. But basically that's what I would do, is take a picture every 3 clicks, going faster on my shutter speed, making sure not to bump the tripod so everything lines up. And what we're going to do is combine those images together in HDR, high dynamic range, in Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. And that's how you set up for HDR.